Hi, everybody. My name is Grania Fletcher, but I go by the name of G. I'm originally from Ireland and I moved over here to Australia over 30 years ago. And this evening, we're going to be talking about this company that I aligned myself with 4.5 years ago. I'd been a traditional business owner. We owned dental health practices, and I came across this product and was blown away by the science and just blown away by this new way of looking at taking control of your health. And from 4.5 years ago, I just started sharing it with people, and the results that were coming in were pretty life-changing. And from there, more and more people decided that they wanted to come on this product. And hopefully tonight, after hearing the information you're going to hear, you will be very keen to maybe get yourself started as well on something that has definitely revolutionized my health and the health of thousands of others. So just before we get started, anything we're going to talk about tonight is unique. All the sales figures are not actual income. It may differ depending on each person. So what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about flipping the switch. This is a new way of looking at your health, a new way of taking back control so that you can feel better and do more. So our bodies are being hijacked every day with the food that we eat, the metals that are out there, poor diet, not enough nutrition in our diets, and just technology. You know, we're all around this all the time. EMFs and iPhones and things like that. So there's constant stress all the time on our bodies. And of course, stress and alcohol and all these things aren't great for it as well. And either is exercise. Too much exercise can cause a lot of issues as well on the body. But did you know that there is 85,000 chemicals that are actually in that have been introduced to us since this industrial revolution that happened years ago? So we can do the best that we can do to try and eliminate some of this hardship that the environment's causing, that petroleum, you know, the air we breathe, all these things that are really causing damage to our bodies. And what is happening is it's actually causing us to dim our light. Our bodies are not functioning the way that they're supposed to function. So what might this feel like? Well, decreased immunity. You see the guy under the couch then, you know, brain fog, just a bit of sluggishness, not feeling on top of your game, waking up and not feeling like you've had a really good night's sleep, increased stress all the time, a lack of motivation. This sounds like most people out there, and especially with what's happening in the world as well, with you know, what's happening out there at the moment. All these things bring a lot more pressure on the body and stress on the body. So what is really happening? Why would our light dim? Why wouldn't we be at our absolute optimum that we should be at? You know, a lot of us are eating healthy. We're doing all the right things. Why aren't we the best that we've ever been? And I'm going to highlight a couple of things for you tonight. One of them is oxidative stress. Now, I didn't know what this word meant nearly 5 years ago, but hopefully after tonight you will get to understand what it meant. But what excited me when I did hear about it and I really started to study it, I thought, wow, if this is saying that it's the main cause of aging, and so many, you know, age-related conditions are caused by this, this could change the health world as we know it by actually looking at reducing this, because it's not something you want to have. You know, decrease in mitochondrial. What does that even mean? You know, well, that's just mainly your energy and much more. So why don't we have a look now at what the scientists came about and what they discovered. So they discovered that our genes contain incredible abilities to keep our bodies healthy. So our bodies are meant to be healthy. They're not meant to be unhealthy. So I want to ask you, if you could leverage those genes with just a flip of a switch, would you? So this is oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is basically caused by the air we breathe in. It's caused by the damage that the integrity to our cells. Now you can see here with this apple, it's going all brown and discolored just because it's left outside with the air. Now, what happens is our bodies normally combat this oxidative stress. So it's like rusting from the inside out with our cells. So our bodies normally produce antioxidants, and this creates a maintenance for the health of all our cells. But what happens over time is our body starts slowing down, producing these antioxidants. Now, the main antioxidants that it produces is glutathione, superoxide dismutase, and catalase, three primary antioxidants that we need. And this is how when kids fall over, they don't twist an ankle and things, they just get back up and they get on with it again. And it's normally because of these antioxidants that's able to repair the body. But as we said, over time, this can't happen. So what we would like to introduce is Protandem NRF2 Synergizer. Now, Protandem's job is basically just to go and switch on the production of these antioxidants. So this actually turns off when you're about 22 years of age for women and 24 for men. And I'll show you a graph in a minute with this. So all we're doing is with Protandem, it's sending a message to every single cell to say, turn back on again. You're back in work. You're back in action. And this lowers oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days and then 70% within 120 days. That's a really good thing. You want to try and get this down as much as possible. And it increases. Remember, I spoke to you about the mother antioxidant, glutathione. It actually increases that production by 300%. And what can happen from that? Well, a lot of really good things. So, what's it made up of? Turmeric, really great as an anti-inflammatory. Green tea, a metabolizer. Bacopa, really good for brain fog. Milk thistle, a liver cleanser. And ashwagandha is a really good feel-good kind of plant and herb. People say to me, I don't feel as anxious, I don't feel as tired, I don't feel as grumpy. All these things are probably to do with the ashwagandha. So now look at what could potentially happen to all your cells. If we can lower that oxidative stress by that 40%, we get it back to its form that it was in before. Therefore, your body is working at its maximum, which is what you're looking for. Now, I love this study that Washington State came out with. It says NRF2 is likely to be the most important health promoting approach in the foreseeable future. NRF2 may become the most extraordinary breakthrough in the history of health. Now, you think about penicillin, you think of stem cells, you think of aspirin, all these things were amazing discoveries. And they believe that NRF2 is going to be the most important discovery. Now, that is exciting. So remember, I was talking to you about the decline. See, this is what normally happens to a body when it doesn't have Protandem. So age is at the top. Now, can you see here, antioxidant production? Straight away after Protandem, we start producing NRF2 and it keeps producing. So you want to keep your body in full steam ahead so that you're giving it the best protection out there. But I encourage you, don't take my word for it. Go to PubMed, which is pubmed.gov, and look at these amazing universities and research institutions that have actually done some studies on LifeVantage, on Protandem. So if you put in PubMed.gov and you put in Protandem, you will see these 26 peer-reviewed studies, American Heart Association, National Institute of Aging, some really premier institutions here that we would really encourage you to go and have a look at. Now, next I want to touch on, I spoke to you about mitochondria, which is actually the energy in your cells. and the activity. Now, why do you actually want this? Well, you want to have like your iPhone. What do you do when it's got no battery? Well, it's not working. The exact same thing happens with our our cells as well. We want to try and get our cells working at their optimum. So our body is constantly fixing and removing damaged mitochondria and producing new mitochondria. But unfortunately, the body's production of this slows down over time. So what does LifeVantage produce? It produces a product called NRF1 Synergizer. Now its job is to increase that mitochondrial biogenesis, which increases the ATP in your cells, which increases the energy just by a flip of a switch. So increases production of NRF1 genes by nearly 70%. You're getting an extra 70% of energy production produced when you actually start taking NRF1. So increases it. Who wouldn't like to see this increased again? Wow, watch that. So now we're bringing back our cells to their form that they were supposed to before. We're slowing down aging, and we're just flipping on these switches and getting our bodies back into the way that they were designed to work. So are you ready to flip the switch? So what does it do? It supports positive mood, supports healthy longevity, increases mental focus. We all need proper mental focus now. Boosts your mental and physical energy and supports your healthy inflammatory responses as well as healthy vascular system. We all want to have a healthy heart. Healthy longevity means that we're around longer, but that we can do more while we're around. So the double punch together, we get in, we actually liken it sometimes to a car. The blue one, the NRF2 Synergizer, cleans out all the bodywork of the car, gets rid of all the rust. And then the NRF1 puts a brand new engine in. And then we have some other amazing products here that are available over in the UK and Europe. We have an Omega trend, which you can actually source where the fish was caught from. Now, this is really good for brain health. We also have a skincare range. Again, this is like Protandim NRF2 activator in liquid form. So now we're turning on our largest organ, which is our skin, and we're going 5 layers deep into the dermal layer. So we're switching it on from the outside in and the inside out. And the same with hair care. We have some incredible before and after pictures. We've even got one of Brett, amazing pictures that we'd love to show you. And this turns on the scalp from the inside out. So healthy scalp produces healthy hair. And I'm just going to just show you very quickly a couple of these stories, because we always say, we can give all the facts that we can, but the stories are the things that really help you to see what we're talking about and why we get excited. Now, this is one of my good friends, her dad. Now, as you can see here, he's walking along and he's shuffling along. He doesn't look like he's got much of a step to him at all. But as you can see, after only 30 days, look at the way he's holding his posture now. He's walking a lot more steadily on his feet. And you can see a happy smile here and looking back on more photos now because of the memory being there. Now, this was a horse that had quite a lot of ailments. And you can see it looks to be in a lot of pain. It's really slow. And anyone who loves horses will know this isn't a happy horse at the moment. But you're going to see what happens just by taking one Protandim for 60 days. Check this out. It has got a happy ending. After just 60 days, look what happens now. Wow, look how happy that horse is. And that's all because we've flipped a switch on in its body, and now it's working at its optimum again. And horses, and dogs, they don't understand placebo. Check out this dog that was in a rescue home when it came in January. Its coat wasn't great. Look at its eyes. Its eyes are really, doesn't look like it's part of this world. And look at how happy it is after a few months. I love seeing that photo. So stories are better off when we share them, and that's why we love to share them. So now I'm going to pass it over, and Brett is going to take over here. And he's going to talk to you a little bit about who the company is behind these incredible products. Thanks, Brett.
Thank you, G. And you're driving for me, yes, please. So a little bit about LifeVantage, the company that's behind all these incredible discoveries that G's told us about this evening, the products that stack up and activate those cellular pathways in our body. Well, it's a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ. That means it's owned by other institutional investors and people like you and me that invest in the stock market. It has a share called LFVN. If you're interested, you can check that out on Google. It's headquartered in the USA, so it's an American corporation. It's followed this direct sales model for 11 years, but it's been around since 2003, so it's almost a 20-year-old company. And you can see on the board of directors, it's made up of people from previous organizations such as Coca-Cola, Airbnb, Amazon, and SC Johnson, and others. And we'll talk about one other of those in a minute. So this is a company that's been around for a while and is really dominating and is at the forefront of this whole field of activating our cellular pathways. And it's in the space of wellness. And you can just see over on the right here that wellness is really dominating right now, and never is that truer than right now and what we're going through all globally at the moment. People are concerned about their health and well-being, and there's been a 60% increase in wellness sales over the last 8 years. And look how that stacks up against some of the other sectors that you might expect to also have done well over that period. So that's just phenomenal. This company is in the right place at the right time. And it's really captivating three core areas, and this is particularly true for us here in Europe and here in the UK and Ireland. The anti-aging market, which is predicted to be a $300 billion US dollar market. The skincare market, which is 121 billion, and the hair care market, which is 85 billion. And using those cellular activation products, they're dominating all those three. And the interesting thing is that in 2017, cosmetics outranked wellness, as you can see here on the graph, 31 to 26. And that's flipped exactly the other way around in 2018. So the direction of travel is towards wellness. That tipping point was reached in 2018. We're now over on the other side. That's just phenomenal. And for those of you that have come on tonight to hear a bit about the products, but also about the company that sits behind it, it is a direct sales model company. So we get people in front of information like this tonight. We work from home. We work from anywhere. We work from our mobiles. We have a system that we drive our business with. It's a very low cost of entry, and it's about social sharing exactly like we're doing tonight. Everybody who is a distributor for the company has a personal online store in all 22 markets that the company is open in. You can do business in all of those countries around the world, and the product is shipped from those local markets. And what I love about this company is that it's fully transparent. Because it's a publicly traded company, it's a member of the Direct Selling Association, it publishes its average annual earnings disclosure statement every single year. And this is the one from 2019 December, which is our most recent period. And you can see how the company declares at each and every level. Over on the right-hand side, those are volume levels that people are doing in their business. You can see how that's publishing exactly what people are earning on average at each of those levels. So for people who are looking for an entrepreneurial venture right now, it's great. It's all transparent. You can see what people are earning and in what period of time. And what I love about this company is that in January, before all the craziness set in of current circumstances, it was invited to close the trading bell on the NASDAQ on January the 9th. And that is our former CEO, Darren Jensen, ringing the closing bell on the NASDAQ on January the 9th to close the day's trading on Wellness Week, which was a big, very big deal, as you can imagine, invited in to do that. And companies that have done that before are up there on the right-hand side, including Amazon and Netflix. And LifeVantage is disrupting that whole wellness space in much the same way as Amazon and Netflix have done to both our shopping habits as well as our media consumption habits. And just to have a look down on the right-hand side, in the first 3 months after the crisis, how the company bounced back in its performance through this whole COVID period that we're all living in right now. So if you're thinking, well, like Brett and like G and like others that might be interested to do this, can I be a participant in this? Can I socially share? I've got news for you. I've never done this before when I started doing this. We've got an incredible global support team. There's always someone awake. G's just proving that right now by being awake down in Australia. Got regular team meetings. We train what we need to in terms of skill set, mindset, leadership, and product. There's regular corporate events and training, and those, of course, are done online at the moment. There's incentives and perks, and we have a great private support community where we lock arms and support each other to build our entrepreneurial businesses. So it's a phenomenal opportunity. And if you're thinking, well, that's really interesting, tell me a bit more about the company. Well, there's some great stats that I can share with you. Is that it's been voted for 4 years in a row the best place to work, which is an incredible honor for the company. It's a really good culture, and it's growing. We've opened in Europe recently, in Ireland last year, in New Zealand, in Belgium, in Spain. So there's lots of markets opening. Recently in Singapore, Erin Brockovich, the famous Erin Brockovich that Julia Roberts played, joined the board of directors last year. That was a very big deal. She'd been watching the company for a while. Some Stevie Awards, I think it was 7 or 8 Stevie Awards were won just this year during the COVID period. And of course, we are shirt sponsors of Real Salt Lake City, which is the sports team, the football team in the US. So if you're thinking, great, I'm really interested in this, I'd like to know how those products could help me, please, we'd refer you back to the person who invited you here tonight. But at the very least, you want to flip those switches and activate your cellular pathways. Then you want to become a customer at the very least and talk to the person who invited you here tonight to get started. If you're thinking, hey, just like I'm doing now, sharing the products with others, you'd be interested in that as an entrepreneurial venture, then please go back to the person who invited you, and they'll bring you to the information that you need to make that decision to join, which will be great. And I'd encourage you to at least have a look at that. And I want to thank you for your time tonight. And at this point, I'm going to hand back to G. Thank you, G. You're muted, G.
Thank you so much, Brett. I really appreciate that. And thank you, everyone, for coming on this evening. I have stopped.